So hello Arya. Today we is gonna discuss functions.
Functions.
So what are functions? What are functions?
Functions are
So the definition from the programming perspective, functions are basically reusable piece of code. What does a reusable piece of code means? So
that means you can use it over and
yeah,
over. and over
you write some
and it
logic.
tells it
You write some logic and you use it over and over
over
again, and you don't have to write the same piece of code again and again.
Okay.
So the thing is that, so let's say, how do you write a function? Let's say you write a function called like this def, and you say is what
Def.
no, what the
def.
function should be. Let's call the function is, let's call this function power.
Power.
So we'll call the function power. Okay, so what it's gonna do is gonna take number x and it's gonna tell you that it's gonna
What's the power of
x.
2?
Yeah, what's the power of x? 2. Let's say the, if you want to find the power of, let's say you want to find the power of 3, and you want to 3 raised to power 3, right? That means this is equal to 3 into 3 into 3.
I think you have to.
That
you
is
have
equal
do
to?
2 stars, right?
That
for
is equal
power?
to, you can use any of the signs. So we can use this sign, or you can use this sign. Sometimes computers we use this sign, sometimes use this. So this is 3 raised to power 3. That is equal to 3 into 3 into 3.
9.
That is equal to 27.
Huh? Oh.
Okay. So how do you write a function for this? So this function will be return. So the power will be.
That's a big number.
So yeah. So we'll say answer is equal to 1. We're just gonna write a for loop for I in range
And then you have to do
0 to,
0 to
N.
n.
and then what you do? You do
N.
answer
Answer
into equal to x, and you return
return
answer.
answer.
Let's see if it works. Power of 3, 3. Okay. Print. Okay. Print. So let's run it. So it gives you 27, right? Let's check another example whether it is correct or not. So let's say that we want to do 2 power of 2 raised to 5. So that will be equal to 2
Times.
into 2
Not
into 2
2 into 2.
into 2.
Okay, so
That
wait,
will
let
be
me tell the answer. Let me tell the answer. So 2 into 2 is 4. 4 into 2 is 8. 8 into 2 is 16.
16 into 2 is
Maybe
16. You have to add 2 times.
Wait, I'm adding. Wait, I'm adding. Give me time. Give me time. 32.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's 32. So let's write this. Let's copy paste this, and then you write
2 to the power of
2.
5.
5. So it's 32. So you see, it's reusable, right? So this entire logic, we don't have to write twice. We just used it. We just give it a new arguments. Like first we said calculate for 3, 3. Then we said calculate for 2, 5, and it just gives you the right answer. So that's called functions.
You
Right?
only have to write one single code.
Yeah, you just write it and then you can just use it multiple times. Okay. Now let's look at some more thought. There are different types of function. Okay, there are different types of function. So we'll talk about different types of function. So let's say different types of function. Okay. So first is the the first we call the pure function, or the what you will see when you learn in mathematics what functions are. So these are like math function. Okay. So what does the pure function look like? So the pure functions are basically the pure functions are like this. So they takes in arguments, right? So you see there are 2 arguments here, right? X and and n, and then it returns you a value. So what was the value for 3 comma 3? 27. 2 comma 5? 32. So it takes some argument and returns a value. It does not change the argument. It does not change the argument. Every time you give this argument 3 comma 3, it doesn't matter how many times you call it, the answer will be same. So the answer will be same. So if you call it again, the answer will be same, right? So if you have these three behavior, then it's a pure function. So it gives you 27, 27, 27. So the answer will only depends upon the argument. The answer will only depend upon the argument. So let's write the behavior of pure function. So pure functions are: answer will only depends on the argument, right? It does not matter how many times we call it will
still be the same.
It will give the same result. Okay, so that's the main
comment, right? So
yeah,
we have to add a hash.
yeah, we will add a hash. So let's say hash. So answer will only depends upon the argument. So one more thing you can do for pure function is you can make a table. You can make a table
of multiplication table.
You can make a table to understand the behavior, right? To understand the behavior of the function. So let me give an example. Behavior. So let's say you have a function called is prime, and you want to make a table for this, right? So how the table will look like? The table will look like, the first is input. What is the input gonna be? Input gonna be a number. Right? And output gonna be output is gonna be a boolean, right? Boolean, okay? Boolean. So input is gonna be a number. So input is gonna be a number. Okay. Now what the table look like? So the first is, let's say you give a number called 5. What the output will look like?
False.
True. So 5 is a prime number. So that's a true. What is about 12?
False.
So it's false. The output is false. What is about 17?
False.
No, 17 is true. It's a prime number. Okay. So this is a if for the table for the is prime. Okay. So let's do more examples. So we will make a table for another one. Let's say we make a table for, let's say is divisible by. Is divisible by. So now you are given two inputs. You are given a number 1 and then number 2. You are given two inputs. So first number is, let's say 15. And the second number is, let's say 3. So you have to tell, and the output will still be boolean. So you have to tell, is 15 divisible by 3?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Is 12 divisible by 3?
No.
That's false. Is 17 divisible by nothing? It's not divisible by anything. So we'll take some other example. So we'll example of 27. So is 27 divisible by 3?
Yes.
Yes. So as you can see, for pure function you can make tables like this to understand what do you want. So once you have a table, you can think about how do you want to write the code. So first you understand what the table will look like, and then you can write the code for the function. Okay. So when you're doing pure functions, okay. So pure functions are easy to understand and test. Easy to understand and test that you are getting them right or not. Okay. Okay. So now you have, these are like the pure function, right? Now let's talk about the second case. Okay. Let's talk about the second case where.
So what's next type of?
Yeah, the next type of functions are functions where you modify the input argument or parameter argument or parameter.
Input argument.
Arguments, we call it the argument. Let's call it the argument. Okay. So functions where you modify the input argument. These function will return void. They will return nothing. Okay. Void means nothing.
Why?
So that's the way they should be. Like if a function modifies the input argument, generally it should not return anything. But there are times you will see it will return something, but those are not good design. They are not good things to do. So generally this will change the. Let's give you an example. Do you know what example where we modify the input argument? You don't know? Some function which we modify the input argument. So let's make a list. So list of, let's say, numbers. 3, 2, 1, 4. Okay, 9. Okay, if this is a number, right? Do you remember what the sorting function is? What does sorting function do?
Sorting.
What does it do?
Sorts the things.
Yeah, it is sort. What will so if you write list dot
Sort.
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 List dot sort.
It will sort it to smallest to greatest. Maybe.
So this will. Now if you print list, what will happen to the list?
It will first print 1, then 2. The sorting function.
Yeah.
Will
So
sort
what?
it smallest to
So
greatest.
the important part is that did we give some argument to it?
No.
Actually, the argument is the object itself, the first object. So this is the argument. But what happened to the list after that? After calling the function, did it return anything? So if you print it, let's see, what does it return? So it will return something and then we're printing the list itself. Okay. So let's see what happens. So it said none. So in it returns not void, but basically called none. Let's call it. It will return none. Okay. So it does not return anything. This sort function does not return. Like other function we learned, they return stuff, right?
It has output.
This one does not return anything. What it does, it change whatever the input you gave it. So you gave it the list, and it changed the list, and now the list become 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 9. So these are the second type of function which modifies the data you gave it. Okay. Another example will be reverse, right? Those kind of thing. Okay. So these are the second kind of function. So you need to understand what kind of function it is. Okay. So let's give you an example. Let's say if I write str is equal to, let's say, hello. Okay. And if I do str dot, let's look at some.
Sitting tall again. I always forget to sit.
Let's.
What are you looking?
Let's look at. Okay, let's look at here. Where is this?
Google.
Okay. So what about append? Let's say if we can call append. Okay. Let's see if they have the word. Okay. If they have the
word. No.
Oh, they don't have append.
Seriously.
So they don't have append, right? So what about the reverse? No, they don't have upper or upper. Let's look at the upper or not. Okay, they have upper. Okay, so you look. This is the another function called upper. So if you look at this one, what does it do? So we again calling on the same on the string, right?
Yeah.
So what does it do? So this one is returning hello.
In upper's case. We could also do lowercase.
Yeah, we can do also lowercase. But if you print the str after that, what will str will be?
None.
No.
Huh?
So this one, see this one, look. See, what we did is we have set str to hello.
Yeah.
We call this function str.upper.
Upper.
With what it does, it whatever the input was, which was a lowercase str, it gives you a new string, which is uppercase str.
Uppercase.
But the original one was not modified. Original one was same.
Same.
That you can check the same by printing it in the AND. So it prints the same old str. So this means that str.upper is a pure function. It's a pure function. The table for this is, it takes small case letter and it gives you the
Upper.
uppercase. So this is again a pure function, right? Whatever you write, it's gonna convert it to uppercase, right? So if you give whatever, right, word, that will become WORLD. Okay. Oh, sorry, WORLD. Okay. So it will always. So this is again another example of pure function. Okay. So, and it does not modify the original object, which is very important. Okay. Now, what is the third type of function? So, third type of function are where you kind of say, you know, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, like that, right? So you do bunch of things, right? Right. Suppose you write a function called def main, and then in the main you do lots of things, right? Some of them will be pure function, some of them will be function which, you know, change the input paragram. Some of them function will be just a print function, right? So what kind of function is print?
It's a boring function.
It also returns void.
Void?
It also returns none. Print also return
None.
none. Does it change any input parameter? No.
No.
What it does, it writes to the output. It writes to the screen.
Screen.
So it's another different type of function. So which call will, so this is another kind of function. We'll call it, we will write it. So first we went to the pure function. Then we went to the second category where we were basically saying that this second type of function basically modifies the input parameters, and that's what they do. The third one could be the one where the function which basically which writes or reads from to the output or input stream. Writes to the output or input.
Stream.
So we'll call this like the third category, right? That's called the third category. Function which read, writes to the input / output. Input output devices. Let's call it that. Input output devices. Remember, now this is very clear, right? So what are the kind of input output devices are there? So keyboard input.
Ooh,
So
the mouse.
Mouse input, right?
Headphone.
Yeah. So now what are the input output things you use in your program? As of now, you only know how to write to the screen and how to read from the screen. To read for the screen, you use input. To write to the screen, you use
Output.
print.
Print.
You use print. Okay, so that's all you know. But all of those functions will be in the third category of function. Okay, third category of function. Third category of function. Okay. The second category of function will be this is the second category of function. This is the second category of function. Okay.
None.
So they return none, but they modify the input argument. So you understand? Do you remember three categories?
So first was
Pure function.
Second
What?
was the none.
No. So first one is pure function. How do you describe a pure function?
So pure function gives you the.
So what, like, so let's say very simple. A function has input arguments and a function return something. Okay. Now to describe the function, you have to just tell about these two things. Okay. So what happens in the pure function? What happens with the input argument and what happens to the output?
So the input, like the variables don't change.
Yes. So that's good job. So the first is that input argument does not change. Then second,
The
output.
like in some functions,
Huh.
they don't.
In the pure function, what happens?
In the pure function, you get output
Depending upon the input parameter. So this is very important. You get the output depends upon the input parameter only. That's pure function. Now the second category was function where you modify the input argument. So it means this function where the output goes to the input argument only. So output also goes to the input argument only, and we return none. We return none.
So this
Example is sort function.
So like first you have like a list. Then you don't change it. You just modify it.
You modify the list. Okay.
You modify it, and then you print on this modify.
So what is the other example of this could be? The other example of this is reverse function. Let's say reverse function. List dot reverse.
We can't do reverse.
Reverse. I think list way we can do. Okay. So let's say print. Now we print it again. So the first one is sorted. The next one should be reverse of this, which will be 9, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's see if it works. Okay, I think we did not do this one, right? Okay, let's run it. So this is it reversed it, right? So the original list was now reversed. Okay. So these are the examples of some function which basically are the second category, which change the input parameters. Okay. And the third categories of function are which basically change the input output devices, and the examples for those are input and output is print. So if you call it, does it return anything? No, it doesn't return anything, but whatever you give the argument, it will be printed on the screen. And input will be, what will input return? What will input return? Input will return whatever you print from the keyboard. Okay. So these are the third category of function.
Like if you write Aria, it will print hello.
Yeah. Now the fourth category is also there.
What?
Where basically you do anything. Okay. Fourth category means where you do anything. Like suppose you are writing a game. Now you write a function for the game. Now that function will be doing a lot of steps. That is category called the fourth category, or procedure. Procedure. Fourth category is called a procedure. Procedure. So what's a procedure?
Like something that executes it.
Procedure means where you tell that I want to do this steps. That's a procedure. Remember, like we talked about the recipe example.
Oh yeah.
That you have to do this, then you have to do this, then you have to do this, then you have to do this. That's a recipe. That's called a procedure. So the fourth category will be a procedure.
Remember that lecture I was watching that taught you about procedures?
Yeah. So the function is also a procedure. Okay. So you and then that's what I'm saying. Why we don't talk about that? Because if you understand which category of function you are writing, you will be able to test it differently, and you can think about that whether I got this right or wrong differently. Which of them the hardest to test? The last two. The last two was the hardest to test.
Third category and fourth category.
Yeah, the third and the fourth category. So they will be the hardest to test and work with. Okay. So these are the.
That's why you teach them last.